Welcome to my man cave, but more importantly, welcome to the 30-Day Project. The goal of the project was to compile images and video together in order to share in the 30 days of ourselves. I believe I accomplished this goal, but more importantly, I shared in the human experience, providing opinion and generating discussion, and if not, sharing in common feelings and experiences that we all have. I hope you enjoy it. And if you're going to buy the ticket, you got to take the ride. Here's the 30-Day Project.
In order to be productive in any project, you need a space that is both functional as well as a reflection of your own creative side. And I believe my space does that. With everything connected as one in one big technological nerdgasm, I can either work from my PC, on my TV, and take an Xbox break. It really is perfect. Speaking of technological marvels, it's sad to think that on the second day after losing my cell phone and getting it back less than 24 hours later, I had treated the loss like it was the loss of my first child. It's weird to think that without this little gadget, so much of our lives is lost. And so much of the outside world is as well. Of course, I've been disconnecting myself from the outside world now for 20 years. When something you love becomes more lifestyle than habit, you know you should inherently understand that this is something that you want to be a part of. Something that you want to not only be a part of your personality, but also shape the rest of your life. Sports have come to play as equal a role as video games in my life. It's something to root for, something that makes me seem part of something bigger than myself. Even though it is odd that a grown man will wear another grown man's name on the back of a jersey and follow with blind faith as everything they do, just in the hopes of winning a trophy. So what do you do when you're working toward a career in video games and pretending to be $1 million athlete? You usually work at this type of place. Or, if you really don't have any higher ambitions, you'll work at this type of place the rest of your life. I was not one of those people. I quit that job in this 30 days, but we'll see that later on in the video. Perhaps part of my rejection of the soulless corporate minimum wage jobs is the revolution of rock and roll and metal in my life. Now, it's to be noted, I cannot play either of these guitars for shit, but they sure are pretty to look at, and when someone else is playing them that knows what they're doing, it is an eargasm on another level that can never be described. As this first week wraps up, I need a place where I can collect my thoughts. And sure, my room provides that on many occasions, but it's also very distracting with so many toys. So I find myself in my local watering hole, 601 Bar, for quiet and social comfort and drunkenness. When I create a man cave, I keep in mind the comic book heroes I grew up loving. Superman had his Fortress of Solitude with his memory crystals and access to unlimited knowledge. Batman had the Batcave with access to unlimited knowledge and technical superiority. I have a futon and an ashtray. Sometimes that's all you need. What I actually need right now is a repairman. I forgot how much it costs to do coin-operated laundry, and considering that our washer being broken was not my fault, but the results of a failed YouTube experiment, I can put aside all my little man cave problems and resolve for at least getting me a fresh pair of underwear. Now, before you start thinking that this product was the reason for my dirty underwear, that was a completely separate incident, and I don't want to talk about it. But why haven't a beer company and a condiment company got together to make one glorious product? People drink, they eat burgers, so why not combine the two? I need to call Pabst Blue Ribbon and get them on this shit, and get my name on it as well. So while my imaginary product may not be real, McDonald's is, and throughout this project, as well as the majority of my life, I have lived off it. What can I say? If you go around the world and you say the name Jesus, people know you're talking about. I believe the same thing to be true for McDonald's. Whether that means I end up losing my foot to diabetes or not, it still tastes good. But if I do lose my foot to diabetes, I at least know I'll still be able to emulate my favorite writer, Hunter S. Thompson. With a cigarette in one hand and a glass of Wild Turkey in the other, I sit in my reclining chair with my keyboard on my lap, typing and clicking away on my big screen TV. Gives me that sense of power and control that all writers and all creative designers need. As week 2 was wrapping up, it was time to travel home to Springfield to participate in an over 100-year family tradition of making salami. Now, I'd only missed this event 1 year in my life, and that was due to the fact the state would not let me leave their facilities. So instead of talking over it, I will let you listen and see this event, and feel free to make all the sausage jokes you want.
Say hi, Teresa.
Sam.
Yeah, why do that again? Wow.
That's what all those pretty dental assistants are for.
Hey.
The office, my friend works in the dentist, just married a girl who was in her mid-20s. He's 50.
You get the most beautiful tennis assist you can get.
As week 3 began, I found myself in Champaign, Illinois, home of the Fighting Illini, and for those 3 days I shared this tiny space with someone very special to me. And even though the times we had in there were great, I couldn't help but feel during my time there that I had made the right decision when it came to choosing where I live today, because this place reminds me too much of a jail cell. But like I said, I was there to visit someone that I loved, and someone that I care about. I'm a firm believer in the concept of the muse. I've had many. And she, I am not going to say is just the recent one, but probably the most important one. And it's a shame to think that because of my own selfishness, I may lose her. My own selfishness has been a part of me for so long, I don't know whether or not I can get rid of it as easily as that. At the top of my stairs you see these 3 words, but I don't even know what they mean anymore. Because the 3 words that it should be used to inspire also make me feel trapped within my own world. But the world is full of selfish people. People who bedazzle their license plates. Non-smokers who threaten real smokers by forcing them outside or forcing them to change to electronic versions of the same thing that really aren't the same thing. And then of course the link card, which can be its ultimate form of selfishness. What should be something used to give food to poor people is more used by poor people to give them diabetes faster, to put them in hospitals faster, so that way they can use Obamacare faster. My own selfishness has even come to a point of affecting my evil cat. Instead of letting me get my work done, the little bastard decides to hang out on my lap. I'm just one bald head away from being an evil genius. But speaking of evil geniuses, I'm an evil genius in the ring, as this video proves, and as the end of the week 3 wraps up.
Mitch, show them what total victory looks like.
Oh! Nothing matters.
Welcome to week 4.
For the final week, I decided to focus on the creative outlet. For some of us, that can be as simple as using a soldering iron to burn initials and phrases into wood. For me, I found it more beneficial to go back to the beginning, to the source of all my creativity, to all my old notes from the time when I was a kid up to high school and even parts of up to now, though now they're few and far between. But sometimes you just get lost in space, lost in the creative space created by other people. I'm finding it harder to find out whether I want to be a creator or I just want to be a gamer. And that's scary, as it should be. But what's even scarier is when something you love ends up getting you injured. By the end of this project, my creativity felt like these toys lost in the wasteland of the winter. Neglected. Shown no love whatsoever. It seems my love for creativity has been split too much among the things that are supposed to inspire it. Video games, movies, TV, sports. Everything that's been included in this 30-day project is representative of my creativity. And for me, I have to become more than a fan. I have to become a creator. And so it was with that thought in mind that I returned home to Chicago that Super Bowl weekend to wrap up not only this part of the video, but also wrap up the 30-day project as a whole. The lights of orange and blue shining between the pillars of an almighty football stadium just felt appropriate somehow. If for the simple fact that I knew at least these lights were working, not like the beginning of the third quarter.
Any last words to 7-Eleven?
Oh, no. Just watch it burn.
We didn't start the fire.